So yeah, I'm Seth Hillinger, organizer of the New York MusicTech Meetup, and I don't know what number we're at here, but the last one was at Spotify. Who was there? A few of you? Yeah, hands? Okay, nice. Thanks for coming back. That was a pretty awesome one. I think the crowd was kind of rowdy in a good way, and I support that. So challenge the people demoing tonight. They are here to learn from you and ask the tough questions, but make it constructive, and let's have fun with it. All right. All right. Cool. Yeah. You want me to do that? USA. Yeah. So first off, we have Greg Housset from the Powwow. Is it Powwow or the Powwow? Powwow. Okay, Powwow. And I'm just going to hand the mic over and let him go for it.
Cool. Well, super excited to be here. It's an awesome lineup, and Nick and I are kind of the two behind Powwow, and it's still a new product, so we are definitely looking to hear your thoughts. Obviously, have a little bit of mercy. I know Seth said to challenge us, but no. So this should be great. And I think before I jump into the demo, it'd be great to give you just a little bit of background about what Powwow is. It's a mobile application for iOS that lets you DJ with your friends in the moment. And so basically, you can, next time you're at a party, on a road trip, or just kicking it with your friends at your home, everyone can add the songs that they want to hear from their own devices onto one organized playlist. And I know TouchTunes is another presenter, and they kind of touch on a similar idea, but more in the commercial space, and we're really focusing on those private moments. What attracted us to that was the meaning behind adding a song when you're with your close friends, whether it be for social currency, because you think your friends will like the song, or for nostalgia, if you have some sort of past shared memory. So that's really what kind of led to Powwow being built. So for expediency, I'm not going to do the login flow, but pretty much one thing to know is that you need Facebook. We definitely want to add a native registration and login in the future, but for now, you have to use your Facebook profile. So that's how we get your image, your name, and your email. So once you log in, you land on this page, which is the Powwows page. And a Powwow is the actual collaborative playlist that you build with your friends. And so you see current Powwow, there is none, so it's it prompts you to create one. Nearby Powwows are the ones that are going on right now. And this is like if you're going to your friend's house and you want to join, it will easily be accessible right there. Past Powwows shows you the ones you've been a part of, so you can easily reference songs that were added and by whom at a certain event. So I think the best way to get a feel for it is just by creating a Powwow. So I'm going to do that. Just one thing to backtrack. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this, but for licensing reasons, since we're really testing out this concept, we're using the Spotify API. And to actually stream the music, one person is going to need a premium Spotify account, but then everyone else can join a Powwow and add songs. So it's a little barrier, but which we're going to work to try to resolve. But for the time being, at least one person in your group is going to need that premium Spotify account. So you have a pre-populated name, which you can change. I'll just put there we go. And then the password, again, it's focused on private moments. So this is to keep it private and protected so no one can kind of hop in and sabotage the Powwow with a ton of songs you don't want to hear. Once you do that, you choose a base playlist. And this is super important. It really sets the tone for the Powwow. And the app is really all about letting people add songs. It's a privilege and not an obligation. So we don't want people huddled over their phones trying to add songs constantly so that the music doesn't run out. The base playlist will be there as a safety net if the songs play through or if songs haven't been added, so the party can keep going and it's like no stress. So I'm going to choose a playlist here, and this is populated by the user's Spotify playlists. So I'm going to choose that right there. And the last step is, do you want to invite some friends? You don't need to do it immediately, but I'll just show you this for an example. what's going on here. Sorry, this is an iPad, which I don't usually use. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. So this pre-populates a text, and what's really kind of important about this is the unique URL there. So once you choose all your recipients and you blast it out, they will click on that link. If they have the app, it will bring them directly to the actual powwow, so they can immediately start, adding songs and kind of getting involved. And if they don't, they'll be prompted to download. So I'm just going to cancel that out. And then if you would have hit send, you would have been brought right here. So now you're on the player screen, and this really will play like any playlist. So I'm going to, hopefully the volume isn't too loud. Oh, wow, that's really loud. Sorry. So thank you, Seth. And so this is going to play like any playlist. You really just see the now playing song and the songs that are queued up below it. And that's the, thanks, man. That's the base playlist that you selected. As users kind of join and add songs, you're going to see, I think Nick's going to add a song in a second, you're going to see it's going to come in as the next song to be played. So we're really trying to prioritize the songs that users add. I don't know if he's adding it. There we go. So you see how that comes in right after the song that's currently being played. And just to show you how that will actually work, well, first, sorry. If this were to play through, I'm just going to manually doing it by skipping it, but it goes then to the song that your friend added, and if those run through, then it reintegrates right back into the base playlist. So that's how it kind of keeps going. And people can participate, yet there's not too much of a burden on being active all the time. I'll show you how to add a song real quick. So you click the plus menu, and you click Add Song. And you have the option to add a song by searching the Spotify catalog, by referencing one of your Spotify playlists, and also an option that was kind of just thrown in there, but popular on Spotify. I will show you how the search goes. So I've been kind of feeling this song recently. And so you can sort by tracks, albums, and artists. But I will just do this, back to tracks, soul and dance. And so now you see again, it was added. I'm using actually Nick's profile, so it's almost doubled up, but that would be your profile picture and the song you just added. And as more participants add songs, it just kind of files up in chronological order. So that's the main functionality. It's really about creating these moments with your friends in real time, really tailoring playlists based on who you're with and where you are. One last feature I'd like to show, actually two more real quick, is if you like this song, I know a lot of times I would always talk to my friends and be like, I love this track, but they would, it would always be hard to remember what it actually was, or they didn't tell me. They were really good friends, obviously. So, so if you swipe this menu right here, you can star the song, and this will save it to not only your profile and powwow, but it'll sync it automatically to your Spotify account. So that's kind of more like friend-to-friend discovery, and that's something I really like.
Cool. I don't want to cut you off, but
okay.
I do want to keep the time.
Okay,
sorry.
totally.
Okay.
So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Awesome.
Should I step up there?
Yeah. So grab the mic. Let's do questions.
Totally.
Okay. Thanks. All right. So yeah. Questions for Greg.
What's up, man?
Hey, I'm just curious how, so you have the kind of, your start tracks from Spotify.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're phasing that out or whatnot with your music thing. How you guys?
So yeah, they're definitely transitioning more towards the same music.
Yeah.
And that's something that we want to add in as well. I mean, they said they're going to continue on favoriting, but it just kind of seems like they're phasing it out. So that's definitely something that we want to add in. Yeah.
Sandwiches are ridiculous. So good.
I haven't had one yet.
I have a question. Is there a feature that would allow Nick, as the instigator of the playlist, to play God and also Nick's a choice or
right.
rearrange the cue or anything?
So this is really kind of the 1.0 version, so it's really democratic in that like the songs that are added in the queue are just organized by you know, when it was actually added. But Nick can skip the tracks. I guess you're with a close-knit group of friends, so it's all about encouraging that collaboration, because if Nick starts skipping tracks, then people aren't going to really want to hear what Nick has to play either. But I definitely think adding voting capabilities in the future, maybe more moderation from the host, being able to control how many songs a person can put in a row, if songs can be repeated, things like that. So there's definitely room for kind of growing out the controls, but right now it's very open. So that's why it's really good for these informal settings where you're kind of accountable to your friends, if that makes sense. What's up?
You may have answered it, but like, what are your thoughts around transitioning in terms of style? So like playing a really fast song, so it comes up with something that's different.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. So the gentleman was asking if you know, thoughts on, you know, a certain genre that was very fast, then being followed up by a song that was slower, and I think that's a great question. You know, I think the curation actually is dictated by the people you're with and the content that's actually being shared. So, you know, if we're at the beach playing like a really kind of chilled out powwow, you know, is throwing dubstep on appropriate? I mean, I guess that depends on the crew, but I think it's all about feeding off of each other. What I've noticed is people hear a song that their friend has added, and then they immediately kind of add another track that's in a similar genre or a nice evolution to that. Yes?
So, all the music directly pulls into Spotify. Would you consider other sources of music?
Yeah, totally. So again, this is kind of just like a validation of an idea, but you know, Spotify was the first one for us, but Rdio, Deezer for kind of more European markets. The first one for us though is SoundCloud, because it brings in, you know, Rdio, Deezer, they're kind of all alternatives to the same catalog as Spotify. So SoundCloud for us brings in that like super active user base and all that cool like, you know, content that they have. So that would be the next one, and then try to phase in the other ones. What's that?
You said maybe TouchTunes.
Yeah. What's up?
So from a UX standpoint, if I click the link in the phone that I get in this message,
Yeah.
I don't have to enter passwords
You
because
don't.
it's a direct link.
You got
but
it.
If I choose to join, I have to enter.
Nailed it. So yeah, the idea is trying to do some of the heavy lifting, because it does require a bit more energy, like mobilizing all your friends to join this experience. So if you text someone out, if they click it, it goes right there.
And does the person creating the PAL, he's the one that has to have a premium account?
Yeah.
Because he's the first one, otherwise
Exactly.
he won't be able to.
So to create is the first, like that first barrier, you're going to be prompted to sign into Spotify.
Last question. The streaming of this into a PA or the radio or the car goes from whatever device you choose, so one device can play, and because obviously we're all on our phones.
Exactly.
One of them has to be connected to the
You
radio,
got it.
right?
So you can either like hardwire it in with an auxiliary, or you can do AirPlay if you're at home and that's set up.
And you choose which one, you just click play on whatever phone and hook it up.
So the host is default to streaming. As you join as a participant, you are not streaming because you don't want 15 phones playing the same thing. So have a question? Or?
Yeah, can you just explain the other icons besides the star?
Yeah, so it's unfortunate that this menu was left up, because I actually want to get rid of this hidden menu. These were actually, so the other one is to check other tracks on that same album. If you're trying to add another song in that, oh, thank you, man. So yeah, but well, actually, now that I'm talking about it, and then the other one is the artist page. So like, for instance, what was that track? It was Milky Chance. So if you click there, it's going to load the Milky Chance artist page. And also to share that song, but honestly, we've noticed that this hidden menu has just kind of confused people, and starring is really the main thing that we're focusing on. So we're just going to get rid of it. And it's a customization that's just getting too tricky with the OS is changing all the time. So
if people star on the menu, and then it shows up, is that a cumulative stars for everyone?
exactly.
Okay.
It was kind of like a poor man's gamification. We're going to try to build that out. You good?
We're good.
Cool, thanks a lot, guys.
Okay, so next up we have Gigit, and really psyched to have Tegan presenting, in part because it's a really cool app, and if you've done any research, you can see that she's out there doing great things. But also, I don't know. I don't want this to sound like sexist in any sort of way, but I'm a big like promoter of women in tech. I mean, we need more of it, and I mean, this group has really good like ratios. I don't know like how you say that, but like, I mean, we have a good like balance of people here, and so you know. I don't know. I've heard like arguments about why women don't like the demo and all this stuff, but so like already I'm proud of her. But anyway, so I'm gonna hand the mic over now and let Tegan take over.
Thanks for that, Seth.
Gotcha.
Speaking of this one.
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know about Gigit, we're actually just over a year old, and in tech here from LA. I started a company in LA, and I think the preface of why I founded it is a bit twofold. One practical and one quixotic. Practical being that the event planning industry, especially if you need live music, was a bit I feel like all over the place. It could be a bit more succinct. And for the band side of the business, marketplace obviously, I just thought that there should be a better way for bands to get booked in secondary and tertiary markets if they can't sell out the bigger venues. And I wanted to make a marketplace that made that really, really simple. So I thought I would show you 2 videos because the product is a year old, as I said. And as any founder or startup, you tend to learn a lot after a year. And so we've just relaunched about 2 weeks ago. And so I'll show you 2 videos sort of describing the product, one from the event planner side and one from the band and manager side. And then I'm going to play with a third product, a tool within the product that shows something that speaks to brands. Okay. So this video just sort of shows it from the event planner side. Okay. Is it too loud? So I'll just speak to that really quickly. The way the product changed in the last year is that I wanted to create a steady pipeline of events. Obviously, that helps with bands being able to check in and see sort of prepaid events are happening. Events are happening. I wanted them to be just easily set up. If you saw from that example, though, the quick book, custom book, and engagement voting page options, the quick book was just showcased there. I noticed that event planners generally come to the site and don't know a whole hell of a lot about live music or who they're hiring. They tend to come and ask for like the bigger names, the Chromiers, the Diplos, the Macklemores with their $5,000 budgets, which isn't going to happen. So generally the deal flow is lost. The agent won't even answer or they don't hear back. But with Gigit, you perpetuate the cycle in that we help educate event planners in understanding similar artists to Diplo, Chromio, or Macklemore in that example. So 6 trending artists, similar who they should be booking. So it sort of just helps. It's just a UX UI problem really. So that's for the event planners. And then I'll preface this one for the artists. A big ethos of mine for artists is it's really hard being a rock star. It's really hard, you know, getting paid to play live music. And so I wanted them to work harder and try harder and utilize technology and be smarter. So what we're trying to redefine with Gigit is how you sort of learn about open opportunities. And so with Custom Book, you basically, as an event planner, pre-authorize your credit card and prepay. Your event then goes up on a list where bands and managers can come in and check in and see what's available. So they basically search paid gigs, and they can come and see opportunities and sort of suggest themselves. So I'll show you a quick video that sort of showcases that. And then I'll get into the, it's not that one, sorry. Great. So that sort of showcases how we hope to sort of change and at least open up the idea of artists not only being searchable by our algorithm if you sign up and connect to your Facebook page, but also to be proactive and see what events are available. This also speaks to sort of the promoter side and fans we call Gigit groupies. I hope for in the future fans to come and be able to suggest to event planners what bands they think should be a good fit for the event. And then lastly, a product I wanted to kind of go over, and something that we've seen a lot of success with since launching is something we call engagement voting pages. Something that we tested at South by this year, and what I've noticed is obviously for brands, if there are any brands here, one thing that I personally like about being a founder or being a company, anything, is differentiation. So Gigit has always been about long tail opportunities and paying bands to play live music in, like I said, long tail opportunities. So the festival season, conference season is quite important in this respect. So as you saw with the sort of engagement voting pages as an option, basically it's a way to let your audience tell you, who they want to see. Basically, we say their choice, they're coming. So I find it really fascinating that most people throwing events are picking the bands when potentially you should be letting your audience do it. So this product specifically speaks to brands. This is what we did at South by Southwest this year, gone past. It's just a different way, and bear with me, but basically Cliche Rum, was at South by. They wanted to get involved with music in some capacity. What we did is we showed them the most trending artists based on our algorithm and based on their preferences and their demographic and their brand. Artists that they didn't know about. These are all artists that were at the event, or at the South by. We created a sort of messaging for them. In this case, it wasn't vote on a band to do another showcase. It was vote on a band to mix drinks with. So what happened was we shot this vanity URL out to their audience. Once they voted and sort of discovered the band, right now it clicks off the new product. It actually stays within the page, but you get to sort of discover new music. And and then offer a different way in which your audience can engage with the brand. So once you vote, though, what we have is a geeky side of this is open graph data and mixed panel data tracking. So what we tell brands is no longer are you paying for an ephemeral event in a quick party with your logo on a flyer. You're actually paying for data on an engaged audience around a really trending band. And I can tell you, we help pay these bands and make money at South by, which ironically they often don't get paid. So with, for example, Gigit was another tech startup that gave us money. They have chefs cook at your house. We were able to have a voting page that allowed one of these bands to cook with one of their famous chefs. Actually, Astor and Mr. Wives love cooking. So it was a really cool way where the bands got paid to be at South by. And yet everyone won because the brand received data on their audience. The bands received data as well. It was just a bit of a content play, and they got paid. So, cool.
Can I take some questions?
Sure.
Cool.
We use the same mic.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. There's an automated product we made for this. It's just really easy to use. I'll just quickly show it. Sorry. Oh, unlucky. I think I just closed it. There's a really cool product we have that lets you make. We made one for the company tonight. Just a cool idea, like essentially. So MyMusicCloud's up next, I believe. The idea here is like basically perhaps they would have a Gigit event, and in order to unlock the record, sits in a cloud. So it's like a user acquisition model, and you have to sign up to MixCloud, and then you unlock a record from the band. So.
Okay, why don't you
sure.
step up front for a sec, take some questions, and watch your microphone there.
Cool, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. So, are there any questions? Yeah.
Hey, just wondering what sort of information you provide based on the open graph information to the artists.
Sure. So if you think about it this way, actually, there's a really interesting article from the whole Beats acquisition. But if you think about the amount of data that bands actually own, when we shoot these pages out, a good example is we did one for Cannes Film Festival, I think. Yeah, that's the one. And basically, you shoot that out and say to people, the messaging was, who's going to Cannes and which band would you like to see? Because there's so many long tail events happening. So when everyone votes, we're able to tell bands, like, the majority of your votes that voted for you, perhaps they were in Michigan versus Florida, right? Perhaps they were in cities that they didn't realize they had a presence in. So we hope to piece together tours and just be smarter about how they book their tours. For brands, same thing. Perhaps Fader Fort utilizes this next year at South by, and they can kind of see, their engaged audience who came through the doors and pre-voted and got involved versus the kids that just came and drank free beer or something like that. So yeah, it's helpful for marketing campaigns and things of this nature. Yeah?
Do the bands and the event planners have to pay fees to use it?
No, it's completely free to the artists right now, and hopefully will be until I start showing value to them, but right now it's completely free to them. If an event planner comes and puts in $1,000, the band gets all of the $1,000. We take a booking fee on top, just like Airbnb or any marketplace. Come again? What platforms does this run on? It's a web app?
It's a web app.
It's a web app. No, not yet. We have a non-native app that we've put out. It also speaks to engagement and sharing content. It's another tool set. So if I were to describe Gigit a year ago, I would have just said it's a marketplace. I was really enthralled with collaborative consumption models and the like. But now I would say it's tools for the ecosystem of planning an event. So to aid event planners, artists, and managers.
I definitely see how you're making the market more efficient, but
Sure.
have you seen any pushback from the artists or bands by making their valuation more transparent?
So a year ago, we were transparent with the pricing, and I wanted that because I was really sick of the sort of back and forth ping pong banter about pricing. The data we take on the back end, you don't have to give it anymore. It behooves you to give it because if you've ever, right? It behooves you to give it because it just has to do with search functionality. Like, I don't want to receive, like Sam Hunt, who is the agent to like Chromeo and all these massive guys, he's so sick of getting emails that say like, yo, I got like 5,000 for this band. So like if you set preferences, we won't bother you, you know? And so it just sort of behooves you. We don't share that information at all. Yeah, cool. Yeah?
How does the money get released to the artist? Like, what's the schedule like?
Yeah, so right now we're using PayPal, but we have Stripe in place, and we're pretty small still, so we paid in check as well.
They get the money.
Oh, I see.
After the
I
show
see.
happens?
Yeah. So straight away after the show. Okay. Someone there. Yeah.
Event planner set the price and then have a budget. Is it negotiation with the artist? How does it work? Event planner specifies some specific artists.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
Sorry. So if event planner puts some price and then budget on the platform and then want to negotiate with the artist for specific artists, is it possible on the platform or do you have to go back?
No, I want to rid of this situation, right? So the way event planning happens is you have a budget, which is why we've changed it. You upload an event, you say your budget. I kind of don't like the way that, you know, right now I've been through the process and it's a really dirty and mean business. And I've seen some crazy emails go back and forth. So the idea is that if you're not going to take it, there's a queue of kids that will do. Yeah.
This seems like it would really work for artists and brands or event planners, but have you had managers, the people who, you know, it's their job to do that negotiating? Have you had any pushback from them?
So for sure, I mean, adoption's been one of the most strenuous things for me so far, but I will say that Tom Windish invested in this company, who's one of the agents of agents. It's a mixed bag with the agents. I get some of them that work quite closely with us. Once again, why we created that engagement voting product. It actually feeds into a data dump from the agencies direct. I mean, I'm quite close with Paradigm, with AM, with all of them. I mean, they've known about this now, and it is. I mean, it's going to take some time, but we hope to show its worth. We've showed it so far. That product, these voting pages, the data dump will come directly from who's at South by, who's at Coachella, who's here, who's there. And that way, once again, events are happening. It's just a matter of knowledge and knowing who's there and then making that process so much easier. Talk to any event planner. It's hell on earth trying to book that sort of stuff. Go on. Yeah, sorry.
What are your thoughts on how to improve, how to capture information on the quality of the show now? So if you like my tracks, but you don't necessarily think I do a good show, how do you capture that information?
So right now we have an algorithm that we made that's based off of, it's just really simple. It's SoundCloud plays, Twitter followers, and Facebook likes. So it's automated in the sense that you have to have X amount before you're automatically approved. We then have like music tastemakers on the team that check other artists that aren't there yet. And yeah, for sure. So that's why Gigit was probably the first booking platform to be curated. You can go to some other sites and it's pretty gnarly. Like you can see lots of pretty pictures of pretty people, but no assets. So you can't actually have a profile unless you have X, Y, and Z.
Right. I guess the question is more around a particular show. So.
Oh, I see. So there will be, much like Airbnb or Uber, any marketplace, there'll be like a, how do you call it? You know, star rating system, right? Was that band on time? Did they act like a rock star? Were they, you know what I mean? And they will be affected as such based on their comments after. Is that how you mean? Cool. Yeah.
What's the extent of kind of how you educate artists just through the actual platform itself? Do you teach them this is how you become searchable?
Yeah, so we hope to do more videos. Those ones are more of like my terrible sense of humor, and there's another one that's even funnier, but should have showed it. But yeah, I do. I think I really want to get plugged into the community where we are talking about, you know, social media as such. I think that the kids that stayed with us, I didn't get to talk about it, but at South by, we've rebranded Event Planner to a patron. So like a patron to the arts, like the old school ways. And so all the money that was given to us by patrons, so the Cliche Realms, Kitschit, Homejoy, that money paid for houses for the artists to stay at. So we had all these really rad, like Young and Sick, Me Sun, Mr. Wives, Aster, like some of the most up and coming bands. Staying at our places, and we definitely talked, and it was amazing, and they really appreciated the product. Yeah, I had something to say, but I forgot.
Last question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
How do you deal with, if it's come up here, with like cancellation by either the band, or is there any legal liability there?
Sure. So in the terms and conditions, basically it says that if someone, unless it's an act of God, like some sort of plane or whatever, storm or something, you're just basically refunded. But we are working on testing that. We've never had a band not turn up. Once again, why it's curated. We want bands that are on there that are serious, that get it, and that, and so we're thinking about a one strike policy, like they're off the platform.
Well, what about the other way around, I guess, if the band shows up as a big?
Oh, I see. Yeah, we've never had that. I reckon we would pay them. That would be the right thing to do.
Right, I guess.
Yeah, they would get paid, of course. Sorry, that is in the terms and conditions. So, cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. Good job. That was awesome. All right, so we're just going to keep moving along here. And next up we have MyMusicCloud, and Eyal will be demoing that. And there are a few more sandwiches. Actually, there are like at least 10 more sandwiches there, so if you haven't grabbed one, get one now. And thank you to MailChimp for supporting our hungry needs. Okay, are you all set?
All right, so I'm Eyal. I'm head of product for TriPlay. First of all, thanks for having us. 2 demos are great. Gigit, awesome. Thanks for the shout out. Be happy to talk later. All right, so TriPlay is building a cloud syncing service that works across any end device. Thank you. The way our industry has evolved is very platform-centric, meaning if you're a Mac person, iCloud is a good service to synchronize your photos, videos, work documents across your different screens, but it only works on Apple devices. Google has a similar strategy with Google Play and Google Drive on Android. And Microsoft has a similar strategy with Sky One or OneDrive, they recently rebranded, for Windows Phone. And so our target audience are people with any type of permutation of devices like that. So someone with, I don't know, an iPad, an Android phone, maybe BlackBerry from work, and a Samsung Smart TV that is looking to synchronize their files across those different screens. We have 2 products in the market. One is MyMusicCloud that I'm going to demo. As the name suggests, synchronizes your music across any end device. We have another product that does the same for photos and videos. All right, so I'm going to start with the website. I hope you guys can hear me. All right. All right. So that's the website. Basically, you can. I mean, I'm starting the demo from here. Although you can basically start from your mobile or tablet and import music into the cloud from there. This basically synchronizes my albums, artists, playlists, whatever. On the web, we let you sync either just manually, download the desktop agent that synchronizes with your iTunes, any folder on your computer, or any hard drive, and we let you synchronize with Dropbox and Google Drive. So basically, that's my account in the cloud. Can start playing something. Whoops. When I start playing, I can show all sorts of things. I can share, can create playlists, I can show lyrics. Right. Then, if I go to the home page again. Sorry. So basically, we put a lot of focus on the user's collection and mainly on discovery and rediscovery of their own music. And so, you know, there's recent listening history down here, and also track recommendations and playlist recommendations, again, based on my recent listening history. So that's the website. I'm going to switch to our iPad app. I'll just cast this. All right. Here we go. And so the iPad app is kind of similar, very similar features. You can see that if I start playing, my account is in sync, so the queue synchronizes across those devices. And there are many other features. I mean, so for example, if I don't know, if I look through my artists and I don't know, I can look at Morrissey and read his bio, or look at upcoming concerts, or look at similar artists in my collection based on him as a root, or maybe create a smart playlist, again, based on my collection with him as a root. So this is our iPhone app, which is, again, very similar. You can see that it syncs, but we also created an app for Gear, the Samsung smartwatch. And so basically, hold on, here we go. And you can see that the two are in sync, and basically the Gear acts as a remote to the phone, right? All right. So, thanks. Sure. So that's Android. We also have a smart TV app. We actually do a lot of work with Samsung, not only on Gear, but also on Smart Hub, their smart TV app store. And they actually promoted us recently globally a few times. We got fantastic traffic and fantastic traction and engagement rate from there. And I think that's probably because, to our understanding, we are the only app that let you port your music from your computer, your own music, onto the TV. So granted, I mean, you can just download the Spotify app or whatnot. But if you're trying to sync your music from your iTunes onto your TV, we are the only solution at this point that allows you to do that. We also, I can think of all sorts of other scenarios. I don't know, you sign up from your phone, you basically pair your phone with your TV, and in a few seconds you basically have whatever music you have on your phone on your TV. I would love to show you the TV app, but unfortunately, I don't think we have a TV here. If anyone happens to have a Samsung Smart TV on them, be happy to try for that. Yeah, it's all good. We do have a screenshot, and let me just kill this. All right. So trust me, it works. It syncs. Basically, that's the that's the UI. My queue is synced, so the thing, just like the square in the middle, is the track that would sync across my devices. You can see I can have access to my collection at the bottom, and that's pretty much it. So that's what we have. We work on any end device, so try it out either at MyMusicCloud.com or pretty much in any app store you can think of. When you sign up, you get free unlimited storage in the cloud. We do cap the number of tracks you can access to 250 at a time. You can swap it at any time, but still kind of a hassle. And so for $40 a year, we give you unlimited access, no restrictions, no caps, no anything. That's it. Try it out. If you love it, tell us. If you hate it, tell us how to do it better. Thanks.
All right.
All right.
Questions for Eyal?
Yeah, how do you pick those 250?
What's that?
How do you pick the 250 that you have access to?
I think it was a magic number that my CEO and I came up with.
No, I mean, how would I as a user?
So basically, when you have a free account, there's actually a cloud section that basically shows you your entire collection.
Yeah.
And basically from there you choose which 250 go in and out of, across your devices.
Audio quality, what formats are you supporting?
Anything, FLAC, whatever, whatever, yeah.
The player plays, the player can play FLAC and all that?
Yep. Yeah.
Are you guys paying out a license fee every time a song is streamed?
Not really, because we're not really in the syncing business. It's more in like the cloud and storage business. So essentially, these are your files. You import them onto the cloud. You then either download or stream them, or progressively download them to your phone. So it's essentially your music.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess I was confused, but I remember hearing about iTunes Matching. They did something similar where you could take the content you owned, and then even if you streamed your own content, for some reason they were paying some sort of royalty.
Yes, I mean, Scan and Match is an interesting.
What you didn't originally buy that you sync.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Also, it's only apples.
Can you repeat that?
So basically, the question, I think, at the end of it was about Scan and Match, which is essentially licensing a master copy that you then serve to your users across their devices. Other cloud companies do that. It's an interesting topic that we're looking into. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Where do you host this?
Amazon.
Sorry?
Amazon. Yep. Amazon.
I get the impression one of your biggest differences from your competitors is the fact that you can listen to your music from your television. How have your users responded to that? I mean, has there been a large amount of people downloading for their televisions?
So first, we don't necessarily think access from the TV is the main and only differentiator. So access from any device, UI, there's a bunch of other features that we think are great. On the TV, I think we saw two different scenarios. So first, as I mentioned, Samsung promoted us, so we saw a bunch of traffic coming in from Samsung. The quality of traffic and the quality of user that came from there was just amazing. I can't say that I really, at first I wasn't really sure why, but, I didn't see at first why so many users are looking to put their music on the TV. Granted, it's the device that's probably connected to the best sound system in the house, but still, but it looks like because this is at this point the only solution to take music that you own and put it on your TV, that there was an unmet need for that people that come in from Samsung are looking for. On the flip side, again, I mean, we see a nice take rate for people who are basically adding their smart TV to their account.
Seems the advantage is to be able to use on multiple devices, right?
Yeah, from different manufacturers.
Is there a limit on how many devices?
10.
10 devices.
Yep.
Is there any concern of non-ownership of the music? So if one person has a master list of music, the sharing with people who did not purchase that music.
Also like an Uber account with, so the cap of 10 devices, in a way kind of controls for that. Mm-hmm. And you could deauthorize whatever device and add another, but it doesn't really, the way it's set up, it doesn't really support Uber infringement type thing. Yeah.
We're in the offline playback scenarios. I know for me a big thing is I can Spotify when I'm driving, but I'll lose signal all the time, stuff like that.
So we progressively download to your phone and then keep your tracks there for offline playing. And you can manage that, of course. Yeah. Exactly.
That's an interesting question. As we move towards hard drives in the dashboard, as opposed to plugging in your phone, will you be able to sync to a car?
I mean, it's something we're discussing, and you know, another screen or another touch point that you are looking to interface with your music on. So yeah, I mean, we haven't really. I mean, we're looking into it. I can't say that. Not set up yet. Just yet.
I missed the monetization piece. Have you thought about getting into merchandising in the sense of for the bands, like creating clouds for them, like as you know, unlocking merchandise?
You know, obviously something to consider. I would say that you know, because the service kind of revolves around users storing their collection in the cloud, you know, it's not an obvious kind of overlap with you know, promoting artists and whatnot, but still, you know, why not? There's a store section there that I can see. You know, I can think of some scenarios where it would work actually. So.
I mean, this would promote digital downloads more than it would streaming, right? In a way, because yes. You have to have this. You have to have a download on one of your devices in order to sync it. If I have a Spotify account, this is not really. So in a way, if people like that, they would go back to buying more digital downloads as opposed to stream some music, which is interesting.
Yeah, and you know, I agree. I think that we see different types of users, right? So we see like the uber heavy user who has, you know, a streaming account. So they have a Spotify account. They have their own collection that they keep on like whatever server farm somewhere, and maybe they have, I don't know, they use something else for discovery or whatnot. And then we have other users that are just looking for, I don't know, creating 5 or 10 playlists for the gym, or you know, a few albums that they like, and you know, the other end of the spectrum in terms of user. Anyone? Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Let's just keep rolling along here, and yeah. Next up, we have Kevin from Feed FM.
Thank you. So thanks, Seth. I appreciate you having us here. Instead of giving you a long verbal assault of what we do, I figured I would show you a video of what Feed FM is all about. And this is probably the first audience to see this. We're literally refreshing our site as we speak. So this is what Feed FM is all about.
Every company must build audience, engagement, and retention. And there are various tools to do this, whether it's social media, ads, promotions, and so on. But here at Feed FM, we tackle this problem with music. We are a B2B platform focused on building audience, engagement, and retention for our customers, ultimately to help them improve their bottom line. Market research shows that music can improve brand perception, increase the amount of time a customer interacts with the brand, and ultimately increase consumer spending. However, the unfortunate truth is that using popular music in the digital space is a legal nightmare, and that is why we created Feed FM, a legal, turnkey solution to add popular music to your website, app, or game. And we take care of all the legal brain damage, so you can focus on building an awesome product. Our easy-to-use, cross-platform compatible API allows for any custom music integration your business may need. Get any popular music, from Beatles to Daft Punk, in your game, app, or website in minutes. Our clients have achieved average increases in session times up to 400% and daily average revenue up to 20%. With a tiered pricing model starting for as little as $25 a month, anyone can afford the music. So sign up for Feed FM and unlock the power of music as a marketing tool.
So a couple of years ago, I've actually been in the, I do with air quotes, the traditional music business for many years, and I was fortunate enough to move out to San Francisco about 8 years ago, and I was very fortunate to come across a company called Blip FM. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Blip. It's Twitter for music. And in that process, the founders and me as an advisor learned very quickly that if the music's not legal, you're in trouble, literally. And 2 years ago, year and a half ago, we really looked at the marketplace. We saw what Pandora was doing. We saw what Slacker was doing. We just saw it in just an explosion of internet radio. This is what people want. They want to press play. They want to have curated music at their fingertips. But what we realized is that's happening on Pandora and happening on Slacker and happening on Spotify. What if brands were able to have that same that same interaction with music to help increase their loyalty and their session times, what have you? So this time last year, I was working for another company, and the CEO of Blip FM was like, "Hey, dude, this is what we're working on. You've always said that this was going to be a big deal. Let's get you involved." And I was like, "All right, well, where do we start?" And he's like, "I don't know. There's like liquor companies, beer companies. They're probably ones that want to use music." So we literally this time last year, I was like, I don't know, let's try Anheuser-Busch. I flew out to St. Louis, met with this dude. He had a stack of papers. Literally, this was like old school Mad Men 1950 style of Avicii, Daft Punk, all these bands that he wanted to work with. And he was like, if you guys can help this go away, if we can ball this up and make this go away, we'll work with you tonight. And I said, yes. And I went out to the car. He called me up and he's like, here, dude, here's my credit card. You can spend 15 grand. Let's do this. But our biggest thing is we want it to work in the Facebook newsfeed. So in true startup fashion, I called my guys. I was like, dude, can you make this thing work in like a week? And he's like, yes, let's do it. So this is a internet radio in Bud Light Platinum's newsfeed. This is all popular music. We've taken care of all the publishing in the same way. We have the same agreement that Pandora, Songza, Slacker, any internet provider, internet radio service provider has. And so we were able to launch this in a few minutes. It's the same functionality as any internet radio destination, and it just happens to happen in the newsfeed so that you don't have to leave and consume that music. This relationship led to another opportunity within the Anheuser-Busch family. This is McCabe Ultra. They wanted to get into the exercise space. I know it's crazy. Nothing says refreshing after you run a marathon than drinking a beer. And their caveat was they wanted to be able to do this on mobile. They wanted this to be a utility that that the users of this app, actually this is a web app, by the way, and they wanted to be able to find this via Tumblr. So we built this. Any one of these can be consumed on mobile, and I'll get into this in just a second. But the biggest thing to take away from this, the consumption of these players that we're building for brands, 89% of it occurs on mobile. We built this 18 months ago. Mobile was sort of in the background, but our data is just, it's amazing. It's far and away mobile across the board. So I'll show you some products that we're working on that are mobile specific. So we also looked at the e-commerce space. This is a Shopify site that we are working with Shopify to create radio for any brand. This is just a baby products, and this is music that we like to call sonic branding. That they've decided that these songs resonate with this brand, and they're able to increase session time, social referral traffic, because you can come in here and post it to Facebook, that you're listening to Bell and Beanzer radio. If you're some random dude, you're like, what the hell is Bell and Beanzer? Now you have context as to you know, this drops into your news feed. This person that you're friends with is listening to radio that's conducive to this brand, and this is the epitome of social referral traffic. So that's Shopify. I don't know if you guys know much about San Francisco restaurants, but this is a very popular restaurant called Foreign Cinema. This has been a great use case for us because these guys have picked music that actually plays in the restaurant, and now you can share this socially that this is music that you've discovered, and oh yeah, I like Foreign Cinema. So it's very contextualized to the brand. And most recently, this is the one we're super excited about. As much as we're excited about Anheuser-Busch, this has just been a great example for us. Star Hill Brewery, I don't know if any of you guys know who Star Hill is, but it's owned by the manager of the Dave Matthews Band. And for several years, it's based in Charlottesville. For several years, they've really rooted themselves in music. They're one of the brands we like to say has the quote-unquote right to play in music. Obviously, Huggies doesn't have that right. That doesn't feel like a good synergistic brand. But this particular brand, Star Hill, is every one of their beers is around a popular artist, whether it's Allman Brothers or Grateful Dead or whatever. And this was a great example of consultative selling. I went out to these guys. I literally went to Charlottesville, and I was like, let's bring these beers to life. If it's Soul Shine, which is an Allman Brothers song, let's bring that to life and let's create songs, let's create radio based on that particular song. And they totally went for it. And that initial interaction led to so much more. They already sponsor these festivals, Bonnaroo, Floyd Festival, the Lock-In Festival. They're the preferred vendor, and they have title sponsorship at these festivals. And what we learned from Bud Light was they're really looking to what they call plus up, to plus up what we're already doing. If we're spending $1 million on these marathons, or $100 grand on Bonnaroo to have Star Hill visible, let's plus up that and give the consumer utility. And in this case, it's radio. So they took that and ran with it. Bonnaroo just happened. This is Bonnaroo radio. Lock-In is coming up. This is Lock-In radio. And all this can be consumed pre and post the festival. And you're giving a constant reminder that Star Hill is associated with these festivals. We wrapping up? Yeah. So just one last thing I'll show you guys. This is the dashboard. This is what brands really like to see. This is what Star Hill has done since we launched it. They've had 1,623 streams. These are the likes, the play to completion, dislikes, and so they really can get an understanding of how this radio is performing. And then the usage analytics. This right here is the big KPI we live and die by. Music with no music. Session time with no music, 1 minute 50 seconds. Session time with music, 6 minutes 43 seconds. So we were able to keep that user on a considerably longer time. All of this is social referral traffic, where someone is actually posting to Facebook and Twitter. And that's it. Cool. Can we take this up?
Hi, Kevin.
Hi.
Debbie Newman.
Yep.
So we've spoken before, and you've obviously come quite a ways since the last time we talked. I always have had a bunch of questions to ask you about this, but first question is, how are you acquiring your master files, your recordings? Are you getting feeds from the labels? Are you doing it yourself, or? So
that's a question that I get pretty much every hour of the day. We get the content the same way that Pandora does. I don't think a lot of you guys realize this. Right. So Pandora acquires their content from CDs. They literally upload CDs like on a daily basis. And that's how they're able to populate the Pandora experience with compact discs. Obviously, that's changed quite a bit over the years, where they get an actual feed from the labels. But our usage rights and the way that this is a legal service is we pay the royalties when the music is streamed.
Right, but in other words, if you were in the same kind of situation as, let's say, a MediaNet or a 7 Digital, where you were getting those feeds from the labels, they would have some approval process by which they would be able to approve or not approve your clients, a Budweiser or whatever. So you're out of that loop, and you can basically do it under copyright law under the DMCA. It's just that there's so much issues here in terms of using music for advertising, and I think the labels in some cases would like to be able to approve what you're doing. It's a little different. The branding association is a little different than an in-stream ad in a radio service that's using advertising like a Pandora or something, you know, whatever, advertising in between songs. The sort of branded playlist thing is sometimes a little controversial, because you can actually, under the DMCA, play anything including the Beatles.
That's right.
There are some sponsorship, I think, some association, artist association issues with sponsors that may, some artists, for example, prevent their music from being used in liquor ads, as an example.
So just so you guys are aware, we hired a very, I don't want to say famous, but we have a very, very vetted legal team from DC that is, again, to go back to what I was talking about with FM, we wanted to go to market with something that was legal first. And we spent a lot of money and a lot of due diligence to make sure that this was completely legal. And this legal team has vetted that, and we have what's called a through to the audience license. And that license affords us to play any music in a DMCA fashion on any website in the United States. And Canada's next, and the rest of the world would be later this year. So that's something that's kind of like that's the IP of the company, is that this is legal first, 100%.
Are you geo-blocking it then?
Yes, we are. Absolutely. As soon as Canada, for example, we're talking to a really cool festival up in Canada that wants to use it ASAP, and we don't have the agreement in place to do that. So we have to geo-block today.
What happens in that area at that point?
It's just not visible. If you go to that website or that mobile app, it's not. You don't even know that that radio is possible.
Can you talk a little bit about your strategy and like how the company's going to scale? Other formats, platforms?
Yeah, sure. So I actually didn't show you guys an example of what we're doing with Zynga. Gaming is so poised for this sort of engagement around popular music. We're very fortunate to be working with Zynga, and I feel stupid for not showing this because it's so, we just ran out of time. But they have as you know, a very popular poker product that right now the only sound that you hear is, you know, the chips, the cards being dealt, what have you. But if you really think about how you play poker, popular music is in the background with someone's speaker, you know, whatever, in a very real physical venue experience. We see that as a huge opportunity to bring that real life experience into the digital and mobile experience. So gaming is going to be a huge vertical for us, to answer your question. But you know, we're a true startup. I mean, we're going after so many verticals right now. You know, liquor, gaming, retail, which is, if you look at what Urban Outfitters is doing, if you walk into an Urban Outfitters right now, you hear popular music. And that's really the genesis of the company, was how do we take popular music that's happening in Banana Republic and Urban Outfitters and parlay that into a mobile and web experience while you're shopping. That music, that same music, should be on a mobile app and the website. There's no differentiation. So, to answer your question, man? Yep.
How many, or I guess percentage-wise of your users do you think are already listening to music? Obviously, it's probably less brick and mortar, but even going in and out of stores, headphones and whatnot. I mean, one of my favorite tech advances in recent history was Chrome showing the site that's playing music, so I can quickly get rid of it. So is that kind of, I mean, people have become so used to curating their own music throughout the day. Have you seen any backlash from that?
Yeah, that's a great question. People always say after you ask a question, it's like, that's a great question, but that really is a great question. That's much deeper than I'm used to hearing. We're never going to compete with Spotify and Pandora. It's just not going to happen. We know we're never going to be that. We're not a destination. We're meeting the consumer with something they didn't know that was even possible. That we're giving you. You might discover a track or two, but if you do discover a track or two, and Urban Outfitters afforded that, that's a big deal for them. That's been most brands, the right brands, that's been their mantra is how do we create cultural currency with music. It's always been like, let's license you to Drake and Jay-Z. Like, let's just do that. $600,000. That's ridiculous. That world is done. That's not going to happen anymore. Let's create, because most people, my wife spends 12 hours a day on Pandora. She's used to that experience of pressing play and shit happens. But if shit happens in the context of whatever brand that she's into, let's say she's into Zulily right now. If Zulily gives her 4 tracks that she likes, she socially shares that. You know, Susie in Wyoming on Facebook is like, never heard of Zulily. That's what we want to happen, is to create that sort of social referral. And it's native advertising. If you've ever heard of this, it's like native advertising is like the brand owning every 360, everything about the content experience is owned by the brand. And so we're a plug-in for that to happen using popular music.
But you gotta get a turn Pandora off.
Well, that's great. I mean, but Tracy, my wife. Hey Tracy, she's not like the average consumer. I mean, she works from home. She's got her headphones on in her house, 12 hours a day. That's a great point. That's definitely a great point. It's not going to be. At the end of the day, this isn't consumer facing as that we're out trying to get users. That's up to the brand to do that. But when a consumer is brought into the fan experience, to the brand experience, music is there waiting, should they elect to do that. In the case of Star Hill, 1,600 people elected to do that, so that's pretty cool.
Last question.
I might have missed that. So those playlists are curated by you guys or the brand? They appear as radio, but they're curated?
So,
and what does that mean about how you pay the royalties?
Sure. So the two answers. The first, the curation, in the case of Bud Light and Ultra, they literally just gave us a couple of artists that they wanted. People are going to be running. They wanted the experience to be music that you can run to. In the case of Bud Light Platinum, they just wanted electronic music. So I literally, just to give you guys, like, I don't mind like just sharing this with you. I went to Beatport per the brands, per Bud Light Platinum's. That was there. It's like, dude, just give me the top 100 from Beatport. That's what we did. We went to Beatport. We downloaded every single one of the tracks, and then repopulated it for internet radio consumption, all completely above board and legal. The second question, what was the second question?
So it's all going through Sound Exchange, basically.
Yeah. So
whether
that,
it's curated or not.
right. So the song has to play for us to then report it to Sound Exchange. If we created a playlist and that song never plays, it's just, it just kind of, there's nothing. So, so yeah, it's all in aggregate minutes that we report to Sound Exchange and all the PROs.
All right.
Okay, we have one last demo. definitely last but not least, back in the day before like there were like streaming music services, and I still had this Meetup group because this group is like 6 years old now, which kind of tells you how old I am. 6, 7? Yeah, that's me, right? So I'm 7 years old. But I used to, have this expression like, Spotify is going to be the jukebox, the jukebox in the cloud. I used to always throw that line around. The jukebox in the sky, that's what it was. Well, these guys actually are like the jukebox in the sky and the jukebox in like every bar in every city in every state. So I'm really psyched to have them here and be part of this. And here you go, Colin.
Thank you. How's everyone doing?
Great.
All right. Last but not least, I know you're all tired. Have a drink, and then we'll keep going. My name is Colin McCabe. I'm the director of platform at a company known as TouchTunes. Has anyone heard of TouchTunes before? Okay. This is good. This is good. We are the largest in-venue interactive music digital entertainment network. What does that mean? So for those who don't know what TouchTunes is all about, I'm just going to show a quick video, and then I'll kind of go over what we're going to talk about today. Let's see if I can do this easily. There we go. Okay. I'll do a little voiceover here too. So we are not your grandfather's jukebox. We're able to change things up a lot because we're a cloud-based jukebox company. As you can see, a few things that are coming up on screen really quickly. We have a desktop. Let's see, let's come down here a little bit. We have a mobile app that basically can control the jukebox. And we have this jukebox that's able to connect to the cloud, all powered for remote setup, as well as have other different experiences. Really, what I flashed in front of you very quickly, I didn't want to get into it because I want to get into the demo, is really a real big objective that we have. We want people in venue to have a good time and to have an amazing experience. So for the folks in here that have used a TouchTunes jukebox, or perhaps you've used one of our devices and didn't know it was TouchTunes, we are everywhere. We're in 60,000 locations across the United States. So that's actually more locations than McDonald's and Starbucks. So we're definitely, again, not your grandfather's jukebox by any means, because all this is basically a network of computers. These are all connected to the web, and we're able to treat these almost like devices. So we want to update the software, we want to update the licensed music, because obviously we're talking a lot about doing things legally. TouchTunes has been around for 15 years, so we have a tremendous amount of relationships with the record companies to actually have this in-venue licensing. So what I'm going to talk about today is just 3 things, and then I'm going to give you a quick demo. First and foremost, I want to talk about what you see up here is our jukebox. This is a smart jukebox. It actually, on the fly, learns based on the behavior of the venue, and the UI changes accordingly. So if everyone's playing a lot of country music, obviously, that'll manifest to the front. And if you're at like a bar that's punk rock, that'll change. So as we want to have a closer relationship with the patrons, we want to make sure we're relevant. So that's one big thing about the jukebox. Secondly, we have things like a photo booth. So in the age of selfies and whatnot, we actually have a camera right on the jukebox, so we can take a picture of you and your friends and actually share that on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. And we also have a karaoke solution, so you can have a fully licensed karaoke solution right then and there for venues. So obviously we're really excited about being here, because though we've been doing this for a while, this is the first time we're innovating in a big way, and we want to get real feedback from the startup community and also see the ways that we can integrate. Because the last thing I'm going to talk about is our API platform and how we opened it. But I want to get into the good stuff. So let me show you our app and how it works. So what's really groundbreaking, right, is that we had all this great functionality and data inside our jukebox. What was a real need was to be relevant and really take all that functionality out, take all that data out, and put it in the user's hands. So we've created an iOS and Android app, and you can see this is all the controls that you normally would get on the jukebox, but you can do this from your bar stool. So you can actually sit back, nobody will know, you're in the bar. I mean, how many folks here have the TouchTunes app or even knew that we had an app? So everyone please search TouchTunes in any app store and download it, because let's just say if we looked at a map, and I'm curious if you knew how many locations are around New York City, but it's quite a bit. Each one of these blue pins, you can be the DJ tonight. You can download our app and go into any of these venues, check in, just like you would on Foursquare, but think of us as like the Foursquare of music in a way. And with that check-in, you would have the ability to be the DJ. So let's go to, all right, anyone know any of these bars? Fourth Down, Isle of Skye, Metropolitan, any recommendations here? All right, we'll go to Fourth Down. So what I wanted to talk about here is all this is powered from the cloud. So the same things that's in our jukebox is here. So let's say you go, but actually, let's say I'm out on the street. I don't want to go in yet because I want to see what kind of songs have already been played in there. So I'm like, oh, they're playing some Led Zeppelin, they're playing some Muse. You know what? This is not the normal, like they're playing Bon Jovi and Journey. I'm going to go check out Fourth Down because it seems like my kind of style. So here we're giving information in the user's hand outside the venue to help make them decisions. On top of this, you have a TouchTunes account. So you'd actually be able to see who's here. So hey, there's Bitsy. She's great. Oh, well. so let's go. Oh, look at that. So let's see what type of achievements you have. I see you're a social drinker. You're a rising star and a night howler. That's a hard badge to get, just so you know. So as you can see, we have this social graph as well, because again, one of our big objectives is really be that conduit and be that social connection between people, and also have fun and really enable different users. So again, we have a huge selection of music. And so you can browse, obviously, see the top plays. Tom Jones, always off the hook. Beyonce. But just a question to you guys. We obviously know the play data of 60,000 locations in real time. What do you think the most popular genre we have?
Hip hop.
Not hip hop. Country it is. And so country is a very important thing. It really works with the jukebox world. We have about 500 jukeboxes here in New York City, but it really changes up different cities. So definitely information that's valued to us. But let's say I want to play a song here. Let's say I want to play, the Smashing Pumpkins, because, it's one of those. Actually, I'll play Swan, their latest iteration. And then, and so now we're at the final, oh, don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. I'm about done. We have two big pieces of functionality here. You can play the song and get in the queue, but this play next button, that's gold, because you can skip the entire queue and your song plays next. So I recommend everyone download the app, go to a bar, and put on Kenny G and hit play next and see everyone's face. I'm kidding. Please don't do that. Not that I ever did that. Okay. Okay, but so for the mobile app, it really is about taking all the pieces out of the jukebox, reconstructing it into a user experience. So my job is the director of the API platform. So I believe everything that powers this app can be regurgitated, put together, and remixed in different ways. So this year is a big year for TouchTunes, and that's why I'm here. We're opening our entire platform. So what that means is 60,000 bars, you can access our API today and find out what's playing in what city anywhere. So for example, I'm going to bring up very quickly here. Oh, thank you. Okay, we're coming back over here. Okay, great. And we're coming out of here, switching around. Okay, we're back. Okay, so, oh, just a quick plug. If you're interested in our API, definitely check out our developer portal, developer.touchtunes.com. And we're out now. Here we go. Okay, so this is a website, which is basically a demonstration. We wanted to show that the same data that was powering our app, right, we saw before, we saw the recent play information, we saw you know, the location data. We created a hack that basically you search El Paso for this instance, we went 8.5 Lounge. Live, without being there, you can see what the previous song was, what's now playing in the next song. But we didn't stop there. We wanted you to be able to listen along. So by using one of our favorite APIs, Bop FM, actually guarantees that you'll hear that song with no commercial, and so you can listen along. It'll look through what you have, and in this case I had Spotify, and it'll actually play that song. So in true demo fashion, I'd like to go to Williamsburg here. So I've pulled up actually Greenpoint. Oh, just kidding. Okay, here we go. All right, so as you can see here, these are TouchTunes locations around where we are right now. And live data, I can click on any one of these. I see that Rolling Stones' Beast of Burden is playing right now. And where is that playing? At Palace Cafe. And so I'm like, you know what? I love the Palace Cafe, but I'm too lazy. I don't want to go there tonight to listen to music. You know, why don't we just like, you know, hit listen now? And so we pull up that song either on Spotify, on RDO, or there we go. There we go. So you basically have what we call a jukebox radio. So this is just a way to bring value outside of the venue, and all this data is really interesting to us. So in the end, we have one of the first jukebox APIs in the market, and we really believe innovation can happen outside the walls of our boardrooms. We have public APIs today. We have now playing information. We have searching our database, and we have most popular songs. So we're really interested to see what playlist generators can come out of this. We can imagine a Spotify app. We can imagine, any app that really takes advantage of that. And we're really excited to get to a point where we're going to feature different apps on our gallery. So look forward to seeing us at hackathons in the near future. And one of the things, as a quick teaser, is we really want to innovate on the jukebox itself. And so if anyone has any interesting thoughts there of what apps they'd like to see on the jukebox, you know, that's something we'd like to see. So definitely email me. And I leave you with, you know, download the app, definitely. And if you're interested in that API, where we're managing that community very tightly, because we really want to learn and see what your community would like to get from us, and actually change what bars and nightlife are. We don't want to be your grandfather's jukebox. We really want to bring innovation there. So thanks a lot. Yes. Now I'll go in front of everyone. It feels funny talking in front of everyone's head. Now in the front. Any questions? Yes.
I saw you guys said like a recommendation of like the next song to play. What's your recommendation engine for that?
So we have a proprietary recommendation engine that was based, I'd say on, you know, our jukebox play data. But now with the advent of smartphones and looking at everyone's social graph, it's we realize, I don't think we're at parity, you know, with a lot of those recommendation engines. We released an API so you can access the recommendation and have a look, but we really look by segment, by genre, and recommend based on that. The level at which we can actually interface with other APIs like Echo Nest and folks like that, we're excited to see what possibilities can come out of that. But what would be even more interesting is using our data, right, to create a new recommendation engine. You know, I could probably recommend you a song if you gave me a zip code. You know, I'd say, most people in this zip code, play country music, So there's some innovations there that we'd like to see developers come up with.
Yeah. So that implies your API has geocode.
Yes, absolutely. So think about, I always think about, Foursquare. Every time you check in, you're checking in at a venue. I look at every time someone hits play on the jukebox as a check-in, right? And you're not playing a song at home. You're not playing on your iPod on the subway. You're actually in a venue. And everyone is listening to it on the PA. So it's a very powerful moment to control that. So we have lat long for every song. So with that information, you can do some interesting things with. And then we have, and this is again our private API, we don't have all this, but we have 15 years of data of this. So you can imagine the patterns that you'd see around when it's closing time at a bar. What kind of music's played then? As opposed to, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Where do they play on the south side of the tracks? Where do they play at that really expensive bar? These are all behavioral data that we realize it's a treasure trove for developers. So we're really excited to kind of get it out and see what people can do with it. Yes.
So you just talked about how at the an expensive bar, they play more of this person or one. Have you thought about using that data, to connect brands or? Yes. And no, we thought a lot about it and we said, nah. No, I'm kidding.
No, the opportunity is so ripe for that. Especially, looking at the innovations that were here tonight, is pairing that venue, that experience, with the music and really being able to focus it. We are basically a billboard in 60,000 locations. If we get a mood index, the type of music there, it's very easy to pair a brand into that venue. If a call to action could be, buy a drink. And these are things that we're really excited about, and we're just getting started. Imagine, in a way, we've been doing this so long, we really haven't viewed us more than a jukebox. But now that we're taking this pivot and really thinking about what value can we do besides just music, all of a sudden we're like, wow, we can do this advertising. We can do a photo booth. We can do karaoke. We can do Angry Birds on a jukebox. Anyone? No? Okay. I was trying to pitch that. But I'm just saying, it's. I look at these as computers, and you can do anything on them. And since we have this infrastructure already there, and it's all cloud-based, I think the business models you lay on top of that are endless. Yes, sir.
So is there a B2B aspect to it? Meaning, is done for users of venues that only have jukeboxes for the people that come and drink, or can the venue take over and use their own computer, or take over the software? Now we're curating, we're deciding, but this is like a centralized platform, so there's royalties, they're reporting what they're playing as opposed to disconnect.
Right. There's a bar around the corner for me that just, fires up Spotify from their iPhone, and that's the music. But, again, if you're talking legal in venue, you need to work through all the licenses, and you need to have that data, for advertising and the whole machinery that is the music industry to be legitimate. So we put in all that effort. We want, though, to enable the bartenders. We want to enable that. We work with the operators that actually deploy all the jukeboxes. These are the same people that put in, the cigarette machines in the 80s. These people are all bringing those things around. We want to work in the relevant way that the industry already is. I'm not going into, a bar saying, I have a jukebox here. We want to work, we have a B2B model, but we're also a B2C in that we have a direct connection through the app. So we're trying to keep bartenders happy and the consumers happy, give bartenders control, give consumers control. So as we learn what type of control they want, we'll expose those through APIs to give that and build some neat apps. Yes, we have 6 APIs now playing information for any jukebox, 60,000 jukeboxes, search music, most popular playlist, song recommendations, and then lat longs for wherever a TouchTunes mobile-enabled location is. So, the ultimate app that when I go to hackathons, people are like, I just want to walk into a bar and they play my favorite song. It's like, please, just how can that happen? And finally, I'm like, listen, we are the missing link. We are the only API that connects to the PA system. And so, innovate with our stuff, and people can actually, pull up in their Uber, and the Uber API says, hit start on the jukebox, and then boom, you got We Are the Champions playing. Well, it's just the venue location is what we have, and and we can see densities. We can carve out like a geofence and have the most popular genre in this geofence. And why is that? Maybe it's a different type of population in Chicago, in El Paso, in Key West, in San Jose. All these different places have jukeboxes. What's that? You're paying to play a song, but we are looking for partners that are interested in more. And so if someone was like, hey, we want that amazing data you have, and this is what we can do with it, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for developers to really innovate. We're looking for big brands that want to do something interesting. And then we see startups that really can use this data to help their business, because this is the ecosystem we're trying to create. Yeah.
So I'm confused about one thing. In the club, in the venues, there's jukeboxes, TouchTunes, physical jukeboxes.
Yep.
Which you put money in and you play a song.
You got it.
So if you're generating a play from the iPhone app and you're in the venue, you still have to go up to the jukebox to put the money in. How does you still have to pay?
That's the magic. You don't have to go to the jukebox at all. And so from the iPhone app, maybe I missed that point, you can take your credit card right then and there. So, what I like to do, I live in Prospect Heights. I walk by the burrito bar and kitchen. And, as I walk past, I just I'll put on a couple songs as I'm walking down the sidewalk, just to hear them for a second. No one knows what's going on, to them. It's just, oh, someone put on a song. But it changes the whole dynamic where you get this level of control, but also you get a level of awareness, because with the same app, I can find out what's playing as I walk around town. I'll be like, no, avoid that. It's all like Katy Perry, Dark Horse.
Okay, so go back a second. If I'm in the venue and I have picked the songs that I'm waiting to play, and somebody else on the map is able to put a song in that plays next, I'm going to be, and let's say a bunch of people do that, I'll be pissed off because I'll never hear my song.
And that is totally true. And, that's why we have an app called Battle. No, an app called Dance Off. No, I'm kidding. We don't have that yet. But no, that's a great point. And I think one of the things we're learning from the users is people want to know where they are in the queue. And also they want to be notified, I'm next, is there an open DJ spot? Turntables.fm, you guys remember that? We're like the real life Turntables.fm. Except I'm not a gorilla, Yeah, maybe I am.
Is there someone who I've asked before who is in charge of the playlist at the end of the day?
Yeah, so the bartender can, take over. They have a skip button, the ultimate power of the bar. If Christmas music comes on around July 4th, that skip button's coming out. But no, I'll take a step back, and I'm answering this wrong. There can be a certain playlist that's curated by the venue. And so the songs that they do not want to appear, let's say it's bad lyrics and things like that, they'll make sure that doesn't even get sold. So with that, you have power, and you also have, you keep consumers happy. Yeah. And so, yeah, no.
Is there someone monitoring, the bartender monitoring the list?
Which is an option, yeah. I mean, you can.
Put out a 20-minute long version of a song, a jam band song.
Okay.
The bartender decided they didn't want to play that, and so they cut it off. But I mean, that's fair. I get it. No one else wanted to hear it but me.
Right.
So I get that. But I guess it's always balance. Yeah.
But it's interesting because there's a natural dynamic going on, and if you knew. I'm asking, all right, I'm pushing something within the company. Would you pay $5 to skip someone's song if you just hated it?
No.
$4? But I'm just saying, we're not just selling music anymore. We're selling control. So it's interesting to hear the dynamic. Yeah, if someone skips my song, if maybe the bar votes that decision down. You know, I mean, it's about the experience. Yeah.
I mean, not to feed off of that, to go on the other end, as opposed to stopping somebody from playing one song, you could be like selling to bands, and they can play, if they're playing in an area, like just sort of carpet the entire, bomb the entire area. Can you just do that remotely? Could I like carpet bomb?
Let's just say the functionality and capability is there. To me, I can go into the control room and hit a button and probably get a microphone and speak through 60,000 jukeboxes and say hi. I mean, maybe not completely true, but no, we have the controls to do interesting things like that. You know, we have that remote. We have a webcam on there. I mean, there's really interesting models, so we can look at that. But we talk a lot about, like, how do you promote, a local act is going to, you know, be in El Paso. Let's give some free songs on those jukeboxes to kind of promote that band before they even get there. You know, everyone's talking about it. So there's a lot of interesting models, and we've realized we're never going to do anything interesting unless we open our platform and we get ideas coming in and we get mashups to happen. So we're really excited about that. And we're looking forward to seeing what comes out. So please download the app, and please go to developer.touchtunes.com, Beekman33 on Twitter, and I think, shall we wrap it up?
Yes.
We're wrapping it up. All right, thanks guys. Bye-bye. Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks.
All right, that's it. If you have any quick announcements, just shout it out. Anyone need to get something off their mind real quick? All right, well, feel free to use the comments section on the Meetup page. Everyone who's RSVP'd will, only those people will get it. And yeah, definitely use that to keep your conversations going. If you have any more questions, definitely find your presenters. Thank you, presenters. Thank you, Knitting Factory and Keith behind the sound, and Jason, who made the fantastic sandwiches. And yeah, our next event is next month at Local 61. It's the smaller event, which is a lot more fun and intimate. So, okay, thank you.